every human being carries burdens, right? Everybody has difficulties in their life. And we carry one silent burden not on our shoulders or holding in our hands. We carry it in our mind. You see, the strange thing is this. Most do not even know that they are carrying it. They wake up with it, they work with it, they laugh with it, they sleep with it, and then they call this my life, right? But I ask, whose life? Who is this I that carries the burden? The moment this question is asked honestly, the burden actually slowly starts to vanish. You see, the ego says, I must become someone. But I ask you, who are you before the thought? The ego says, I have failed. But to whom did failure happen? And the ego says, I am afraid, and things like that. But who is afraid? You see, every answer belongs only to the mind, not to the self. The greatest burden that we all carry is not pain. It is the false person carrying the pain. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Many people tell, Ashwin, I want to get rid of my mind. Ashwin, I want to do that and do this and things like that. You see, freedom is not for the person that we imagine. Freedom is from the person that we imagine. We are all taking it reversely. We all want to get rid of the mind and be free. That is the whole opposite thing. You see, a man ties a heavy stone around his neck and spends his whole life searching for lighter roads. We search for spirituality, ashrams, gurus and things like that. But do you think any road will help him? Or should he untie the stones that he is carrying? This is the condition of humanity. You see, people change jobs, they change houses, they change countries, they change relationships, some even change religions. One of my brother's friend changed his religion. Yet the burden remains the same. Why? Because the carrier has never changed. The one who carries the burden remains the same. There is one Vadivel joke. In Tamil, there is one movie where the Vadivel wears different costumes, but people find out that it is still him. And he asks, how do you know it is me? And then they tell him, you have changed your costume but forgot to change the hair bun that you are carrying on you. So it is like that, we change religions, spiritualities, gurus, as if we change, different restaurants for eating. And then we still struggle, still have disappointment, still suffer. Because we are all fooling ourselves. You are seeking liberation by making noise. It is like a noise following a method to become silence. It will never become a silence because a noise following a method will only make more noise. A shadow trying to see light will only meet shadows disguised as light. A dreamer meditating will only keep dreaming. But see that you are the self-aware reality and be done with this drama. You see, the prison is not outside. The prison and the prisoner is just an idea. The bondage that you think is an idea that you are holding on. I constantly use this word pathetic creatures. It's because in one hand we are holding on to liberation. In the other hand we are holding on to bondage. We hold on to the story of our victims. We hold on to the story of how life was unfair to us. And the other hand, we hold on to the stories of how we did selfless work, how good and great devotees we are. We hold on to the stories of how many temples we have visited and how many people's feet we have fallen at. That's all narrow-minded stuff. And noise, meeting a person who has met silence will only make more noise. How does that work? On the other day, one person was telling me, Ashwin, if I be around you, I will be liberated. I asked him a question. Do you think if you be around Jesus in your dream, you will be liberated? Then he said, yes. Then I told him, that's a very narrow way of thinking. Liberation is waking up from the dream, not spending time with gods and goddesses in the dream. Similarly, only when you see for yourself that you are already the self-aware reality, then the entire drama will collapse on its own. You are not the earth, nor the water, nor the fire, nor air, nor space, nor this, nor that. To be liberated, know yourself as the absolute self-aware reality. You see, look carefully here. The body becomes tired. But are you the body? Thoughts become confused. But are you the thoughts? Emotions rise like waves on the ocean. But are you those waves? Are you those emotions? You see, clouds also pass across the sky. But does the sky become wet? Smoke sometimes, fills the entire room and disturbs many people. But does the space become smoky or dirty? No. Thoughts pass through the mind. The self does not get disturbed. Never, not even once in your life you were actually disturbed. The person who is getting disturbed is a creation of mind. Only the one who imagines himself or herself to be the mind suffers. The burden begins the day you say, "This is me." Then every insult becomes your insult. Every praise becomes your praise. Every success becomes your success. And then every failure also becomes your failure. Are you seeing the chain? One false belief is enough to create 10,000 real sufferings or unreal sufferings. You protect an image, you defend a name, you polish a personality, you follow philosophy that you don't even know what is going on, and then you struggle. But tell me, when did the self ask that you need to figure out it? When did the reality ask that it has to be known? When did the truth ask you to come and respect itself? It does not. Only your ego says that. Only your ego is hungry. Only your ego is tired. Only your ego is afraid. One person was mailing me saying that, Ashwin, you are saying the same thing, man. Tell something new. You are saying the same thing what many people have said. And I replied to that mail by saying that, that's so silly and narrow-minded, because, you don't want the truth. You want the decoration of the truth. You want Jesus being born again and again. You want great people to come and again and tell you the same thing. Still you have not learned anything. Do you think by decorating the truth more you will learn something? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? That's very narrow-minded, People don't want to see the truth. They want the decoration of the truth. They want to see, this is what it is. That's a nice point of view, They just want to appreciate. They just want to admire the person who is talking, but they never want to follow. It's like this, the world is so stupid, because people who memorize Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads are admired, but people who follow Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads are not admired. That's so silly and that's so funny in this world. And don't even get me started with Sanskrit and those people who just leave it. Let's stick to the topic. So it is our ego that is hungry and constantly wants new stuff. But the self simply remains. If you detach yourself from the body and rest in your own self, you will notice that you are always peaceful and free from bondage. See how simple is this? Bondage is not made up of iron or things like that. It is made up of belief. And freedom is not created. Let me tell you the truth. Freedom is uncovered. Imagine a man dreaming that he is chained inside a dark prison. In the dream he cries. He struggles and begs for help, and then he wakes up. Where are the chains on the prison now? Did he break them? No. They never existed outside the dream. So too with the ego. The ego is not destroyed. It is seen through. It is seen that it does not exist. I give the example of ocean water and blueness always. From far on the ocean it looks blue color. But the moment you go within and put your hand and lift it, you see the water is transparent. Similarly, the person whom you think you are only appears to exist. But when you actually turn your mind within to see that person, then you will figure out this person does not exist. In me there is only characteristics and no character. There is only personality and no person. There is only thinking and no thinker. That's what you will see. The moment it is seen, the ego power disappears. Yet people ask, how can I become free? Who wants freedom? The ego. And what will the ego do with freedom? It will decorate itself with another title. It wants to say, I am enlightened. It wants to say, I am spiritual. I have reached, and things like that. Are you seeing the trap? The prison has only changed its color. The chains are now made up of gold instead of iron. Still chains. And I laugh at all these things, The funny thing is that I come across a lot of people who mail me saying that they are enlightened and I am wrong. I am like, dude, what is that? Lot of people ask questions and things like that. It is understandable. But people come and argue with me saying that they are enlightened and I don't know anything and they know better than me. I don't know how to answer for all these mails. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, you are the great, you are everything. And I just leave it. So see that you are the self-aware reality and be done with this drama. See, you are the witness of everything. You are forever free. Your only bondage is that you see yourself as something else. The whole problem is you are like a lion who dreams that he is a sheep and spends your life learning to be courageous in the dream. Meditating and following spirituality in the dream is still the dream. See that you are the self-aware reality and be done. Ultimately, I will conclude my speech by saying that follow the message, not the messenger. I am doing all this social media just to make a living and for the joy of speaking alone. You are the self-aware reality, which is the substratum of all, whether you like it or not or believe it or not. Thank you.